evening, everyone. Actually, that's in my place. And so my paper today is proposals on the impact of virtual DMGA scaffolding-based model, improving the EFL speaking skill among ESB Vietnamese learner. And my proposals are under the guidance of my supervisor, Dr. Asma and Noraini. And this is the outline of my presentation. So, as you know that in Vietnam, English is spoken as a foreign language. So EFL teachings play an essential part in the Vietnamese education sector, especially at the tertiary levels. And despite the effort from the government as well as the educator, the Vietnamese learners speaking skill in real life situation are insufficient to fulfill the society increasing demand. And so besides, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, all the educational activity have been forced to relocate to virtual setting, and it led to the emergence of introducing technology-assisted academic blanks during the Corona days. And that's motivate me to identify strategy to provide effective support and assistance with the so-called scaffolding in order to boost students' speaking skill in an online EFL speaking classroom. And it also complies with the National Foreign Language Project 2020 of the Ministries of Education and Training on English teaching innovation, with a special focus on developing oral communicative skill. And this project now has been extended to 2025. And so the aim of my papers is to investigate the effect of the DMGA scaffolding model on the improvement of Vietnamese ESB student speaking performance in respect of accuracy and fluency. And the study hopes to present a scaffolding framework that is compatible with the emerging needs of innovation in teaching speaking, as well as provide realistic and practical implication for EFL teachers in the long run. And to achieve this aim, this research tried to answer these questions that you can see on the screen. And now I will briefly highlight some significant study. So the scaffolding had received a lot of attention from researchers due to a huge impact on EFL speaking in variety of classroom contexts such as ESL, EFL, or EAP. And especially recently, many researchers has paid more attention on the impact of scaffolding in an online learning environment, and also the impact of scaffolding on learning speaking performance in terms of CAF child. And during the last decade, there are numerous of scaffolding models have been developed in a variety of ways in different teaching contexts, such as high challenge, high support, IRE, gradual release of responsibility, model of contingent teaching, POEE. So now I will go to the conceptual framework of the current research. And this is the concept framework. The study expects that with the application of the DMGA scaffolding model on the intervention module, which will serve as an independent variable, learner speaking performance will be enhanced in terms of accuracy and fluency, which is used as dependent variable to quantify the intervention success. And the scaffolding framework firstly is based on the concept of scaffolding, and scaffolding originated from the concept of the zone of proximal development in Vygotsky's social-cultural theory, and later it's adopted by Good, who are highlighting the difference between what students can do with and without scaffolding. And the core principle of this is that when students have internalized the knowledge and skill being taught, the scaffolding tool can be removed. And this conceptual framework is applied to the adaptation of the scaffolding model and scaffolding strategy for the module development. The next one is the DMGA scaffolding model. This is the four-stage model, which include diagnosing, modeling and sharing, guiding and applying. And this model is derived from the 6 teaching strategy described in the gradual release of responsibility model, which are familiarizing, analyzing, modeling, sharing, guiding, and applying. It also is adapted from the model of contingent teaching, which have the diagnostic strategy, checking of diagnosis, intervention strategy, and checking of student learning. And the first AT provides an exposure to the key scaffolding characteristics, which are contingency, fading, and transfer of responsibility. And it focuses on the teacher degree of control and prioritize the transfer of responsibility for learning and task completion information to the student. And so the DMGA models is believed to contribute to enhancing the efficiency of speaking, teaching, and learning in particular, and the EFL context in general. And the last one is accuracy and fluency, which are two of the three main speaking dimensions in the CAF triad, including complexity, accuracy, and fluency, which has been widely employed as parameter to assess speaking proficiency. And although CAF includes three contrasts, in this study, complexity will not be included since it is beyond the scope of the study. So the two variables, accuracy and fluency, will be used as a rubric assessment in the pre-approval test. And now I will go over the research methodology. The research will employ the mixed method together with the interventionist quality experimental pre and post test design, in which the quantitative and qualitative strength will be interpretation, and the design of the study is described in the following table. So the study will begin with a needs assessment study, which aims to quantitatively explore the ESV learner speaking problem, and the questionnaire will be employed for collecting data in this phase. Afterwards, the second quantitative phase will be carried out through an intervention to determine whether the scaffolding used in the learning module has an impact on the student speaking performance. And the overall speaking performance test score collected from the pre and post test of both of students in both intervention and control group will be analyzed and compared using the paired sample t-test. And in the last phase, both qualitative and quantitative analysis will be employed to explore how scaffolding affects student speaking performance using the semi-structured interview conducted every 2 weeks during the intervention class, the video recording from Microsoft Teams, and also the poll test. And data collected from the video recording and the interview will serve as the evidence-informed teaching and learning, while the poll test will act as evidence-based. And this study will be conducted in 4 phases, which is illustrated in the table here. The first one is module design. The second phase is pilot stage. The third one, the most important one, is the intervention, which will last about 15 weeks. And the last one, evaluation. Validity and reliability in order to reduce the threat of subject selection, location, and experimental mortality. The study will use intended population and convenience sampling. And in terms of implementation, the intervention will be administered by the researcher. And in order to confirm the validity and reliability of the test and instrument, all the questionnaire, the semi-structured interview, and the speaking performance test will be sent to experts for content and face validity and will be piloted before being used. And the pilot teaching will be conducted before the main study begins. So although there are a few limitations of the research as a whole, in brief, with the introduction of the application of the DMGA scaffolding model in teaching speaking online, the future research hopes to suggest a long-term strategy for innovating English teaching and learning, not just during Corona days, but also in the modern era of advanced technology, which is a core goal of our National Foreign Language Project 2025. And I have reached the conclusion of my presentation, and thank you for your listening.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Is there any question for this presentation, please? Who are your sample size?
Sorry?
I guess in methodology section, you did not have mentioned about your sample size.
Yes, in the table, that is the first year student of my Da Nang University where I am teaching.
You mean the undergraduate student of the university?
Yeah, the freshman of my Da Nang University.
Okay, thank you very much.